And I see Pablo. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get started today. For anyone who's ever not been here before, I think all of you have been here, but what we like to do is just focus on anything that you're going in or going on in your career, anything that you're kind of stuck on, or any kind of advice I can give. That's what I'm here for. I think a lot of times in this career as a musician, there's so many different angles that you have to look at, which aren't really broken down anywhere else. There's not like a specific roadmap, but there is a destination point, and there is a way to get to that destination point without having to spend a lot of time and stress. So I like to cut through all the nonsense because, and I always try to tell people this every single time I come on these, is when I started music, I was absolutely horrible. So I wasn't like kind of sort of good. Like I was really, really bad. I was completely tone deaf. I couldn't sing on pitch. I didn't know anything about chords or piano or guitar. I knew nothing about this, and I was already leaving college. So I wasn't like a child. I was an adult who entered into a business. But what I did, I surrounded myself with a lot of people who are extremely talented. And there was one thing that my grandfather taught me, which was find the person who is the smartest in the room, find the person who's the hardest working in the room, and find the person who's most talented in the room. Mimic their things that make them unique, and then just work harder. So every room I was in, I just kept doing that same exact theory, and someone else was talented. Okay, how are they talented? Let me figure that out. And then let me try to work harder to figure that and put it into my, bag of tricks. And over the years, they equated into a culmination, which allowed me to have a very successful career. So I like to pass forward that knowledge to anyone, no matter what age or what race or what place in the world they are. It doesn't really matter. It's really just about fundamental things that make this business work. So I'm just going to hop into it. And usually what starts it off is if someone has a question, it usually helps other people to figure out the next thing that they might be going through. So feel free to raise your digital hand if you have a question, and I will hop through and call on you. All right. I see Pablo. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
All right, brother.
I've been since we've been doing the sync camps and all that stuff, where I felt a little bit of a conflict when responding emails and stuff.
Okay.
I know you've gone through this quite a bit, but it's a while back that I've heard you talk about writing the emails in a professional manner and all that stuff. So when you were talking about it probably like 2 years ago, I was like a little bit off of the loop. So I never dove into it.
Okay.
And I want to really like be respectful and know how to write and, not throw any nonsense or any things that aren't supposed to be on a business email with different executives. I mean, I guess once you get like a certain relationship, things might switch and change, but at the beginning, I want to have the right approach and not mess it up.
Okay. So when you say, give me an example of what you're looking to do, and then I can give you the answer to it.
Okay. So like right now we've been doing the briefs with Andy. So I did a few changes and I answered back, here's the new name for the song, the track. He requested that I change some lyrics and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's just enough. This is what I did. Let me know if you have any suggestions, and then my name. So I don't know if that's enough or
in that instance. Okay. So let's just take that instance.
Yeah.
Because every email is going to be different. So I can't, specifically tell you what to do in every email, but I can give you like a briefing of what can help. So if you're talking about someone says, hey, can you make changes to a song? Then what I would respond back was, okay, here you go, Andy. The changes I made were this, that, and the other. I'd put like little line points from, like bullet point it. So change this line on the pre-chorus. I changed this line in the chorus. I changed blah, 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 blah. Here's a link attached. And then the last line, let me know if you have any more suggestions or thoughts or any notes. And then sincerely, your name. Keep it short and sweet and professional.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I want to do. Cause I don't know if sometimes you have to like those details, bullet points. I mean, sounds good and stuff. So
yeah,
just take note of that type of stuff.
A lot of times keeping it simple and to the point, really, especially when it comes to executives, keeping your emails under one paragraph is the goal.
Okay.
Because even like today, I checked my email and some people were writing me and it was like 2 pages. And I just respond like, listen, I don't have time to read this email. So if you want, just call me or text me, but I don't have time to do all this. So I always recommend people to keep it under a paragraph. It's going to make sure that the person is going to pay attention to it, because here's what happens subconsciously. When you're getting tons of emails, which most creatives are not getting tons of emails, you're going to see for an email, like maybe a couple emails a day, friends, maybe family, or maybe a couple business opportunities, but an executive could get 30 emails a day. So when we open an email and we see a page, we put that in the back burner. But when you see just a bullet points, like did this, did this, did this. Okay, let me know if there are any thoughts.
Okay.
Boom.
So to the point.
To the point.
To the point. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to know, because working with the scene camps, I'm like, am I responding what Adam is requesting the right way or not, and stuff like that. Like when I answer an email, like I'll get onto it. I'll send you this. I'll update this. Mm-hmm. So I'm just
That's why I said as long as if someone requests, can you do such and such?
Yeah, answer what's changed.
Exactly. And you don't need to add anything more. And just at the end, let me know if you need a more if you have any more questions or concerns, or you want me to add any updates. Just something very simple. For instance, when I respond to emails, sometimes I'll get a full, request for, I had a lot of requests in the last like 2 weeks, and like a lot. And when they come through, the only answer I respond back is thanks, approved, appreciate it, great job, team. That's it. It's very, very simple and to the point, and you don't need a whole bunch of things for me to write back to get the ball rolling.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. I will add to this though, anyone who is doing emails, if you're writing other executives though, there is a process that I talked about before, which I'm just going to mention. So if you're writing people who are new, meaning you maybe it's the first time you've met them, it's not a personal relationship yet, it's very in the beginning stages, or if you're writing a company that you've never talked to before, it's a 3-step process, which I call is your first couple lines will be your introduction and your highlights, like what you've done. So you're like, hi, my name is blah, 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 blah. I have recently released such and such, and then hit the highlights. That's gained over 1 million plays on Spotify, or is now being sought after by certain TV shows and music supervisors that are award winning, and, highlight, so that the person, when they start reading it, goes, oh, this is worth my time. Let me stay around for a little bit and see what else they have to say. Then the middle, you kind of talk about what you're looking to do, what kind of win-win. That's where you kind of find this culmination of alignment. I saw that you represent producers who do such and such, or I thought that the work you did on this movie was really impressive, and it made me compelled to want to write you. Something where you're highlighting them. It's very important. So like you're highlighting yourself, you're highlighting them, and then you go for an ask. And then you would say, below I attached a link of one-stop clear songs that are I think would fit perfectly for the shows you're working on. Let me know your thoughts, and So it's always like highlight them, highlight you, go for an ask, try to find alignment, keeping it under a paragraph. If you do that, and let's say you write, let me go for example, and just throwing random stuff out here, right? But let's say you have hip hop Latin music, right? And you have 20 songs that are all really good. I would go and look up all of the people who represent hip hop Latin material, from publishers to admin companies to TV shows, commercials, things like that. Find the people who are the creative directors, the music supervisors, the A&R, the people who are the creative managers or something like that. Get all their names, all the ones that you generally want to connect with. Make sure you research them, so that way when you're writing these emails, you're not just copy and pasting. It's you generally know that this person works on that show, and you are genuinely impressed by the work they do. Because what's the point of working with people if you're not really impressed by them? It's just like you're trying to make money. But if you really want to build a team of people that you trust and that you want to continue working with, you want to be as inspired by them as they are inspired by your work. So let's say you write 20 people who really do inspire you, and maybe just 5 write you back. That's all you need. You just need 5 to build a career. Like I always try to tell everyone, if you have 5 or 10 people in your corner for the rest of your life, that's all you need. You don't need 100 people who are like, I have a small team, but our team works hard and everyone's really, really good at what they do. So are you still there, Pablo? Oh, okay. So that's what I would say is just get something in the realm of this kind of emails and get accustomed to doing it once every 6 months. See, the thing that a lot of artists don't do is they do, this is what I tend to notice. People start sending out emails before they're ready, so they don't get responses. Then when people are ready, they think they don't need to keep it up like a business. I notice this a lot, and I don't know what it is. I think it's part of the business side of musicians, where they forget that every other business that's really in the real world is working every day 9 to 5. And so musicians go, well, I'm working in the studio every day 9 to 5, but they forget about their sales every day 9 to 5. So if you put yourself on a schedule where you're like every 3 or every 6 months, you're going to send out another blast of people who inspire you. If you really did those numbers, if you send out 20 emails, let's say every 3 months, that's 80 emails a year. If you do 80 emails a year for 3 years, that's like what, 240 emails? If you have 240 emails and just, I don't know, 20% write you back, it's like 40 plus 40 people that you now have in your roster who can send you opportunities. You have a career for the rest of your life if you do that. But most people don't do it on a schedule. They're just like, oh, well, I met so-and-so and then this thing happened and now I just sit back and wait.
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Yeah.
You get discipline,
it cuts
you
off
turn to a
because I go and
business.
write notes.
Oh, okay, got you. Well, yeah, if you have that discipline to do it every 3 to 6 months and you look at it like a business, you're never going to have to think about if you'll be making a living. It's the people who tend to not do those things who are like, oh man, it's so tough. And I go, how many people have you emailed this year? And they'll go, what do you mean? I'm like, there's the answer right there. Cool. All right. Lance, I see you got your hand.
Thank you.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, hey man.
Hey,
glad to see you. Glad to see you back.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you too.
I think my question's a bit more nebulous. So
Okay.
as I've said to you, it's like I've done all this other stuff in my past. I really want to get on the pop charts. That's sort of like the end goal here. But through sync.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I'm getting really great feedback on all my weird ass shit. Like the avant-garde stuff that I did for NASA and the weird meditation stuff I do with my startup. Yeah. And it's like, okay, to produce pop takes a lot of bandwidth. To produce the weird stuff takes a lot of bandwidth. So it's kind of like, oh, and actually in the artists that I've spoken to as well, they really latch on to the weird stuff that I do. And so I guess it's more of a strategic question. It's like how to structure my mental bandwidth and I guess my sort of reach out to people and production schedule so that the weird shit gets onto the pop charts.
Gotcha. Okay. So when we say weird stuff getting onto pop charts, let's look at the foundation that first has to happen for that to occur, right? So first, you have to be working with an artist who's already signed to record label. So how do you work with an artist who's signed to record label? You have to be in connection with their publisher, their manager, or you have to be working with them in the room, or you've written a song that is pitched directly to them. So some of those steps have to happen.
Okay.
How does that happen? That would happen from you writing enough material, or at least certain songs that feel like they really capture the radio format and strike the listener as being completely unique. So it's like, wow, I've never heard something like this before. And wow, this is so catchy, I can't get it out of my head. Mm-hmm. That kind of song sent to a publisher or manager would get through, hopefully, to be then shown to some artist. But let's walk through the whole entire procedure. After the artist or the team says, oh, we really like this song, they have to go in and then record it with the artist singing it. Then they have to record all the other songs that are possibly going to be on their album, which could be 60. So your song is now in a group of 60. And then the label narrows down what songs will be the top 12 for the album. Then the label narrows down what song's going to be the single that they put the most amount of money into. So for all those processes to happen is not something that's in your control. You have no control of any of those things.
Right.
You only have control of, once again, your bandwidth and your creative time. So I don't know if I would say, do this, like you should do these things I'm going to tell you, or you should, there's an order to it, because the reality is you have no control over this order. So it's impossible to do that. The only thing I can teach you is how to do things that you have control of. because I tend to notice whenever we start to implement things that you don't have control over, and you put a lot of excitement and passion into them and they don't work, then it feels like something failed. And the reality of this business is a lot of it is politics when you're talking about radio. Okay. So when you say pop charts, you're talking about radio. That's something different. Okay.
Right.
All right. So if you're saying pop charts, you have to get in the room with these artists, or you have to be delivering songs at such a high quality that they compete with Max Martin and Timbaland and Pharrell and all the other people that are pitching to these artists. So that's one thing. So let's leave that in one box. You know, if you want to create songs that are weird pop, you have to have a demo vocalist that can sound as good as everyone on the radio, and almost so when you pitch it, that they go, wow, this sounds like we can give it to one of the artists on our label. Or you have to actually be in the room with an artist who is signed, or you have to develop an artist who then gets a record deal from your sound, and then that goes on then on the radio. Those are 3 different processes that you would have to do. Okay, so that's one version. And you also said something about sync. You said you'd like to get through sync, right? So you're saying,
well, that seems a logical path for me, because it's like, I know a lot of supervisors.
Yeah,
it's in my blood.
Yeah,
I've done it before, so it's like,
of course,
it's an easy inroad.
Yeah,
or at least it seems like it from me.
Yeah. So in that case, what I would do is I would create monikers, which I think I might have discussed with you before.
Yeah.
So I would find a sound of music that I feel really nails an emotional soundscape.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, if I was watching, let's see, like a show on Netflix, and I was like, you know what? There's this sound that is very nostalgic, and it's warm, and it sounds like a little bit mix of the 80s, but then it has a little bit of this, like, you know, these interesting drum patterns. And I know that if I do that sound, it will fit across so many TV shows and movies. And I have this artist that I know whose voice is just incredible. And if I match my sound with that artist's voice, I have a win project here that no matter what, I think for the next 10 years, we'll do something. Well, then I might focus on that. I might block out a time of like a month. And I'm going to say, we're going to do 2 songs a week. So that'll give us 8-song package at the end of this month. And that's something that once I get finished, I'm going to pitch it directly to all the supervisors that I work with. You know, and then I'll focus on that. And then I'll say, you know what, the month after that, I'm going to go just straight pop, because I really want to just get stuff on the radio charts. And I think I can do real good melodic structures. I'll do that. I'll take a month doing that.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. And then I'll go the next month and I'll just focus on this other project I like, which is, you know, a singer-songwriter, because I know the pop tracks are going to take me a long time to build. So by month 3, I might just want to do acoustic tracks because it's a lot easier and it's less stress, and we can knock out a song every other day if we do that. So we get 12, 15 songs done that month. And maybe it's 2 different artists I'm working with, so I don't get bored of the same person. I would schedule yourself out so that way you know what you're getting into, and also so you can prepare. The best producers I work with and myself is when we get ready for a project, we're doing pre-production, almost like you're prepping your meal, you know. So we're finding all the drum tones that work good for that artist, and like, oh, you know, those big 80s drums, like the doo, doo, we want those. So we have a whole thing of all the drums we might use and all the guitar sounds that we like, and it's already ready to go. And then when we work with the artist, the creation time is much less. Yeah. Because the minute the artist hears the guitar, they're like, ooh, that sounds great. And you're like, boom, I was already thinking of it. And the good thing about that is as you start to stack throughout the years, these folders, whenever you work with another artist, you can always pull from these things that you've already know that work. And so you've built, once again, up a catalog of samples and a catalog of things that are strategically going to work for you and make it easier in your sessions. Yeah. So that's what I would do, man. I would just say, all right, 1 month, I'm going to focus on X. And then I'll get all the sounds I need. I'll get all the drum patterns I love. You know, make it really easy on yourself. So when you get into the room, you're just like plug and plopping. And there will be some creative moments, obviously, but it makes it a lot easier when you already have all the ideas kind of coming into it.
Cool. Thanks for the clarity. I was looking for the strategy, and that's it. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. And thanks, man.
I'll just add one little thing on top of it too. If you, let's say, are doing this, I would suggest having folders, and what I do is in Google Drive. So I'll have like a folder of like drum loops I like. Let's say I was doing Netflix 80s project. I'm just naming it that, right? Mm-hmm. If I go to my G drive, I click on it, it'll have like drum loops, and then it'll have drum samples, and it'll have chord progressions. It'll have lyric ideas or melody ideas, and it'll have different folders for each. So that way, when I do work with the artist, I'm going, hey, do you like this melodic structure right here? And I can just play thing. Maybe I'll play it on my guitar. Maybe I found something from Splice. Maybe I found something from another song I liked. It doesn't matter. It's really just create inspiration start-off points.
Yes, song starters.
Yeah, because that's what makes the job easy.
Yeah.
It's what I tend to notice, and here's a trick to it, is when I do song starters, I'll have maybe 6 to 12 ideas. So when the artist comes in, it's not me saying, hey, I just came up with this one riff today. Do you like it? And then the artist is like, sure, let's start with that. And so everything's kind of in this, yeah, like this kind of energy. Yeah, that's kind of cool energy leads to a, yeah, kind of cool song. But if I have a really beautiful melodic structure and the artist is like, oh my God, out of the 12, I love that one. Cool. Now we start with the energy of love. Great. What do you like this drum pattern? I love that drum pattern. Cool. We got another energy of love. And we're stacking things that are energetically feeling like they really hit on an impactful level. Well, when that artist starts to write lyrics or when we start to write melodies, we know already that we can't stack a bunch of crap on top of it. We just said all the things we love. We have to stack on more things we love. And when you do it like a layered cake like that, it just gets easier.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I like your approach, man.
I try to make it easy, man. Yeah. This job is hard, so I try to make it easy, you know.
Well, it can be hard.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll say this. Music that when I make it now, the last like few years, music part is just having fun because now I have all of the processes that make it easy. The part that I tend to notice is the hardest part of the business is working with people who don't know the business. That's the only hard part of this business. Like making music right now, easy, having fun. Getting placements, easy, having fun. Creating marketing strategies and coming up with cool promotional ways, not easy, having fun. The only thing that's hard is people in an industry that don't know how the business works, who have ego to be their guiding force and compass forward, and they don't know how the business works, and they tend to pull you into their own traps. That is the only hard part of this business. And until that is removed, which is in the psyche of the humans who are in it, that's always going to be the red flag you gotta dodge around.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Anyone else with questions here? I see we got Elena. We have David. Who else is here? Mickey.
Yeah, I don't know where my button is.
Oh, it's all good, man.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dave.
I just want to say I'm getting a lot out of everything. I signed up for a series of songwriting lessons with Susan. It's Koch?
Koch, yeah, Susan
Koch.
Koch.
Yeah. We were supposed to meet yesterday, but I guess her internet was down.
Okay, yeah.
So,
she's in Turkey, I think, or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I was super excited, but I totally understood with the technical stuff because I've had my share. Yeah, I don't know exactly what my question is. I just want to say thanks for everything, and you've generated a lot of thought for me. So, like in terms of like some of the rough demos that I played already in demo critique, like it really got me thinking about like why I was doing those and everything and what I was doing. I was like, the real reason is like, I have to finish something that I made completely, essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of embracing that and running hard with the torch on that. And
good.
I can record drums here, and I'm like connecting with my friends to come in and play certain things, and just like really kind of giving myself the enjoyment of that.
Good. Good.
But that said, it was like also super important for me to try and finish this by the end of the year. So that, there's nothing better than time constraints.
Of course.
To like, really gel your use of time.
Yeah.
And so, I guess the kind of pressure comes from, I'm like, holy shit. Now I got a vocal coach. I'm like working with Susan. I'm like, yeah, let's really
do it.
Let's really get under the hood
here
if we're going to do it. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I talked to you about this before, but my main issue sometimes is just kind of like, what do I focus on?
Yeah.
Because I get easily overwhelmed, and then I like want to hyper focus on one thing for like 3 hours out of the day. And then I'm like,
yeah. Well, I think, hey, listen, well, you said get under the hood. I think that mindset is so good because most people don't. Most people focus on the body of the car. How does it look?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks sleek. Oh, it looks like it looks really cool. And then you're like, cool, great pictures. Let's hear how the music sounds. And you're like, oh, this music needs work. And then you say, well, why does music need work? Maybe you need work on your voice. Maybe you need work on your lyrics. Maybe you need work on your melodies. And then once you actually have to say that, like, oh, the engine needs some work, then it's up to the person to go, do I really want this car to run fast? Do I really want it to be powerful? Or do I want it to just look like it is? And how long can I live with it looking like something that it's not? And when you get to the point where like, you know what, what's the point of driving a car? But it just looks good. It can't drive fast and it can't drive powerfully and it can't drive for long. There's no point. It's just more of like a gimmick. When you get to that point and you realize, wait a second, I'm an intelligent person. I can learn things. I have good work ethic. After someone starts to point out the things you can become better and you just chip away at these little things, as long as those little things are important, like your vocal tone and your pitch and your melodic structures and your lyrics and what your intention of what you're saying, and then your sonic quality and your choice of samples and how you're creating music overall and your mixing. And when you start to chip away at these things, what happens is over time, these things get easier and easier because you can recognize when something's not to the level and the quality that you deserve for yourself. Because before, you might have 2 years ago been like, yep, that's good enough to put in my album. But now you might go, no, that's not mixed right yet. I can hear there's too much high end on that. Let me roll that off a little bit. So as your filtration system gets better, your taste gets better for music and what you're creating, everything gets easier and you just chip away little by little. But after a couple of years, after a little bit of time, and especially when you have friends who are all doing it too and kind of supporting you and going, hey, this is good, that's better than it was before, you'll look back over several years and you'll be like, what was I thinking when I did? I know I did it. I released songs at one point or were making songs. I look back and I was like, what was I thinking? And I was like, oh, I was thinking based on the level of knowledge I had at that point. But now that I have knowledge now and I approach a song, I approach it, I would remove some of those old ideas and I would then forge for something that's more now in line with my knowledge base and my intention. And then automatically other people feel that and they're like, whoa, this is really good. And what I notice is that as you start to forge a little bit more, when you hit that emotional chord, other people instantly feel it. It's a lot easier once you know what you're looking for. But I think it's good how you said looking under the hood, because you have the right people who are now helping you look under the hood and who are going to make sure that those parts are connected to one another, which is important, but also that they're the best parts that work for your car. So, man, I think that's a great idea what you're doing.
Yeah, that's good. And I also I have this kind of internal, a little bit of a sinking feeling or disharmony, but of like, oh God, in like a year, I'm going to be like so much better. But then there's a side of me is like, I gotta finish this thing now. So I'm just kind of trying to take the kind of Brian Eno approach and just be like, you know what? This is this now.
Yep.
And I can go in and open the hood up again and redo it if I want.
Yep.
Or, I had this finally, because for me, the last 5 years have been a bunch of bands that fell apart and half recorded stuff that didn't get finished and blah, blah, blah. So,
can I pipe in for a sec?
Go ahead. Absolutely. Anybody.
What I would say to that is the way that you'll get better next year is by finishing what you're doing this year.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's because otherwise you'll be in the same place next year if you don't finish this one.
And that's where I've been for the last 5 years, basically because I abdicated my power to other people and just didn't just say, I'm going to do that. I'm the man, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another caveat. I totally believe in finishing.
Yeah.
I don't always believe in releasing.
Yeah.
So that's all a personal thing. And I've got to the point now where I don't advise anyone what to do or what not to. Everyone's career is different. I can only look at things when I'm talking about a business as a marketplace. So for instance, when I put something out, I know if I'm pitching to someone else, it's going to be searched, and they're going to base my value off of what I perceive the value is. So I might finish something. There's a lot of things I finished. There's a lot of good things I finished, but the only people who've heard them are friends and family. The great things I finish, that's when the world hears it. So there's a difference of what I do, but I also make a full-time living off my career. So I don't have the luxury of releasing ideas. I only release finished products that I know will be reactive to a marketplace that will purchase, download, share, all that other stuff. I can't tell anyone else what to do, but I do kind of go back and forth with that of like, what's in between finishing and being also releasing, and that's something you have to do on your own, personal side of things.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man. But good for you, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
Elena, I see you have your hand up.
Oh, yes. Hi.
Hey.
Hi. I have some. Thank you for all information, actually, for everything, and for last period helped me so much. I will finish my education. I hope soon.
Good.
But now I'm focused on. I have 2 last exams, kind of, and it's about the rhythm.
Okay.
It's quite with a notation and every kind of So you have to tick. I'm not a great drummer, but how you have some tips for about the rhythm? I have to know how to notate this.
Notate drums?
Actually. Notations, yes, notations, and hear it also,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I'm too fast.
For
most
drumming?
Comfortable. Yes. For example, when it's BPM kind of 120, I hear it. When it's slow, I don't hear it. So I'm running kind of it.
So let me ask you a question. Well, first, let me make sure I have your question right. So you're saying that you have a test coming up and part of it is notating drums. And you're saying that you can hear when it's a certain BPM, when it's fast. But when it's a slower one, you have a little bit of trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I would recommend doing is finding songs that you love, that you already can sing or hum at different BPMs. So let's say you have a song like I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Maybe you know that one. You're like, oh, that sounds like it's around 70 or 80 or something like that, or whatever. You know where it might be at. And then you have another song that you're like, oh, I know, DJ's falling in love again. And you're like, oh, that sounds like it's around 120, 128. You find songs that you know already that you could sing and know their BPM. And if you have a song that's at, 70 BPMs, 80 BPMs, 90, 100, 110, 120, it's only 6 songs you really have to know. You can start to feel the in between, like, oh, this song sounds like it's in between this one and that one. And then you can say, well, that might be 85 BPM then, since it sounds like, or 82 or 83. You'll start to gauge these things. So find about 6 songs that are one's at 70, one's at 80, one's at 90, one's at 100, one's at 110, one's at 120. Study those songs, be able to sing them, and then you'll start to find the BPM that will be attached to them.
Yes, and also I have to notation to write it down. Yeah, that's not that much.
Well, okay, notation is different. So the first part we talked about was just BPM, understanding of be able to hear
feeling.
BPM. Okay.
And hear.
Okay. The second part of notation, I just have to ask you is, have you studied notation of drumming?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, so what, then tell me where you're having problems. So tell me where you're having problems though.
To transport what I hear into writing it down. So yeah, maybe it's better to turn on the music and write it down what I hear, to transport it, to export it, to write it down in notations,
Okay, so I'll be honest. I'm a little confused. Are you talking about like if you're going kick, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare? Are you talking about writing that down? I can't see I can't see what's on your paper. Oh, okay. So
hi-hats, snare,
gotcha.
and kick,
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm just going to be honest, no one uses this in the real music industry.
Yes.
So, whatever you're studying is not something that I'm taught, nor do I study, because I don't use it. I listen to a song and I hear the kick and snare pattern and I go, okay, I can recreate that. And then I store that pattern, because patterns are really just 4-bar patterns. And then they have little turnarounds at the end of them. So if
also 6/8, 3/8,
6/8, 3/4, all those things. But it's just these, what's the send 6/8 and 3/4 still 4-bar patterns. It's just 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. It's just these little patterns, and then you repeat them. I'm being honest, I've never been in a studio session where anyone has ever notated drums.
Yeah, for now I need to do that,
I understand. And so my only advice is then you have to study in the way that they're teaching you. I in this situation, I can't give you an answer because it's not used in the real music industry.
Yes, I understand. But for now, I need this.
Yeah. So however they're teaching you,
sorry.
However they're teaching you, however they're showing you, I think would be the best to learn how they're teaching you. Yeah.
Okay. And the next question, how would you strategy with mixing, for example, hold on guitars?
Actually, before we move forward though, what I'd recommend for you to do though is probably work with someone who teaches that, like work with a drummer who teaches notation.
I think yeah.
So if you can just contact someone who's a drummer or drumming coach or something like that in your area, or even someone online could probably show you tips and tricks on how to notate drums. So that could really help you, because that's probably what they do, or they did if they studied it, and especially if they're teaching it.
Yes. Okay. And the second question, what would be my strategy for planning for a mixing song where it's 20 tracks of only guitars, 5 guitars, and they are recorded with a lot of mics, and there are 5 guitars. So the balancing is the key, for example. Mm-hmm. Good balancing and panning, spreading in stereo, and compensation in dB by equalizing.
Okay, so once again, this is a very vague question. What's the best way to mix with 20 guitars? I mean, I don't know what the guitars sound like. I don't know if they're
5 guitars. No, there is a 5.
No, I mean, once again, I don't know what the guitars sound like. Every guitar has a different sound. Every type of guitar is different. Every electric guitar is different from a flamenco guitar, which is different from an acoustic guitar, which is different from every 12-string guitar. They're all different. So if I was to give you any very vague answer, I would say you start by raising up the volume on one track and making sure that it sounds, and when I say full, and I can hear the guitar and I go, okay, cool. Well, is it a double of the other guitar? If they are, then I pan them. So that way it's the same part being played twice, once the left, once the right, and it sounds like it's legible. When I say legible, meaning I can read it, meaning I can hear it well. And then I start to add and raise in the other guitars to make sure that none of them are overcompensating and none of them are overpowering, but they all blend really well. And I would just slowly raise in the guitars based on where they fit the best to make a nice sonic soundscape. So it feels nice and full, but yet never to where I'm like, this one's taking over on the spot unless it's a lead guitar. It would be impossible for me to give you an answer without hearing the guitars. So I can only give you a very just like basic, but basic. I would put compression. I would EQ the guitars so they sound well. I'd probably put some reverb on them. Some of them I might put chorus or delay or some sort of effect if I felt that they helped out. Some of them I might put some sort of amp on them, an amp sound that I might go and find a plugin that the amps make them sound better and give them more character. It's all going to depend on what sound you're trying to create from the guitars that you have. And when you're talking about guitars, a lot of it's going to come down to, and I'm saying this I want to be very clear on this, what type of guitar it is, what microphone you're using, and how the placement of that microphone is. Those 3 things are going to be some of the most important things. And then last is what tone are you using with your amp or anything like that? What kind of effect you're using? All 4 of those different pieces have to be perfected in order to get the best sound. So for instance, when I'm in a studio session and someone brings in a guitar, if they have a Taylor with a big body guitar, it's going to sound completely different from a Takamine. It's going to sound completely different from a Squire or something else. They're all going to sound different. So I have to know, okay, if we're doing an acoustic song, I might want that Taylor or I might want that Martin more than I want the Yamaha, because I know the tone might be different and a different body shape and all these things, right? So I, as a producer, yourself as a producer, have to know the tones of the instruments that you like. So that way you can say, okay, what's the best place to microphone this one? Okay, it's 12, it's maybe 6 inches away from the 12th fret. And maybe this one, I want a pencil mic and I don't want a big diaphragm mic. I want a pencil mic. Yeah. So all those things do take time for you to test. It's not just like a one size fits all. It's, so what I would say is testing the microphone placement, testing where it sounds the best, what amps you might use, and finding the thing that you get a sweet spot for, and studying guitars, like really taking time to study other people who are mixing and recording guitars, because they'll give you tons of tips and you can hear it and then you'll have more knowledge on that. So like I said, if it's 20 guitars, I would just kind of start with that, compressing, EQing, putting them up in the mix, making sure they're spread and they have their own placement, and then finding the best sound. But the deeper answer to that question is taking the time to actually play with different microphones, different guitars.
Yes, but it's already recorded. We already started all the kinds of instruments and guitars. This is already done and recorded soon, and there is 20 tracks. 5 different guitars, acoustic, and I don't remember. Recorded with in different positions, and also in the room mics. Yeah. So yes, this is what I understand. Thanks. By the way, I changed my monitors into Yamaha HS8. I threw away. The difference is quite big, also I had a good result for a dance track. I wanted to let you hear by the yes. So I mixed it very quick because I just gotten my new monitor. And I mixed with headphones. Okay. You recommended I bought also.
Yeah.
What a difference!
Good.
What a difference! Even my boys. Shut up! What is this?
Good.
So it was. I got from 10. I got 7. I told yes, true. This is down 70%. So it's okay. So this the result is quite good. So I can't wait to go further with it, finish school, and now. Good. And then I will be more serious and active in the club. Sorry. Good. Thank you.
Very welcome. I love hearing good results. That's why we do this.
Result that's why we do this. Really
the results are all that matter. All that matters are results.
Yes. Sure. Super. Thank you. Wish you all the best in your situation, and we miss you. Actually, I have not enough. One time a week it was just. It's not enough.
Good. So good. Love to hear it. Thanks, Elena. Good to see you.
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions while we are here? I see Mickey's here as well. And I'm just feeding off y'all. So if there are any questions, let me know. If there are not, then that is fine as well. Lance.
Like hardcore business question. Potentially, I'm going to have to find errors in emissions insurance because there might be some commercials coming up. Any recommendations?
Do you have an entertainment lawyer?
I don't.
Okay, that's the first thing.
Okay.
Yeah, entertainment lawyer would be number one. What you can do is you could write, there's 2 lawyers who are members in the group. So you have John Scheel and you have Yolanda, who are both entertainment lawyers who are club members. So you can ask them first.
Okay.
If they say that it's not one of their things that they focus on, you could then ask Megan Kozlowski or Chaz Barsamian, who are also mentors in the club. And they are Andy Ross's business partners. So you're level 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So possibly bring that up to Andy at one point, or reach out.
He would actually know because he has an agency, right?
Yeah. So he works for a company called Exit Strategy, and Exit Strategy is himself, Chaz, and Megan. So it's himself and 2 lawyers. So you might want to bring it up to him in conversation. But that's where I would start with Yolanda and John Scheel, see if they do it since they're already members. And then if they are like, no, it's outside of what we do, then ask Andy, Chaz, or Megan.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to go out after that money. That's for sure. Cause one thing I've realized, and it's the reason why I'm so excited about the mentorship section we're going into, is, and this is the thing that I wish they taught all of us before we really got into the business, is that you're going to be constantly tracking down money. It's not like a sometimes thing. You're going to be constantly doing it, because when you start to get a lot of songs out there, your publisher or your admin company will be acting on your behalf to collect your money from different places around the world. But it's a big world. So you might have a song in China, you might have a song in Spain, you might have a song in Uruguay, you might have a song, and it's all over. And there's certain territories that might not be collecting, and you're not going to notice it. There's no way you're going to be like, hey, Bolivia didn't pay me this month. It's impossible for you to do all that stuff, right? So on top of that, sometimes, or it's a weird in our business, someone will use a song and then they'll pay you 60 to 90 days after it. So I'm getting, basically they call them requests, but it's weird because they're not requesting to use my song. They've already used it. And then they're saying, are you okay with this amount of money? So then they'll send me a link and they're like, here's the release of the song. And I go on, it's got 1 million views on something. And I'm like, wait a second, that wasn't even asked by us. And then the quote that they're giving us, they've already released it. So we kind of have to be okay with the amount, or we have to then start negotiating in some sort of legal battle. It could be very, very weird. So a lot of the time, when you really start to make money, you'll be tracking down from places that you didn't even know was happening. And sometimes you have to do like sweeps and just go, I'm going to search my song today randomly, or my catalog, and you'll find like, wait a second, my song was played over here. No one told me. Because of the internet now and people just grabbing music and using it, and it's a very grab and go mentality. Like, oh, I heard this song, I'll throw it in my Instagram ad. Well, you didn't pay for that Instagram ad. You didn't pay the musicians. Or I'll grab it and I'll throw this in a commercial, and you happen to be in some other country, or they worked for a startup company. This is happening so much that artists have to know how to collect their money. Otherwise, what will happen is a lot of people will be out there using your material and never paying you. And that's completely unfortunate, but it's in the world where piracy is at its highest. So if you make good music and you have it out there, most likely people are going to be taking it, and you got to hunt them down. So you need a team to do that, which is your entertainment lawyers. You're going to need an admin company or a publisher, and you're going to have to be pretty savvy at doing it yourself and invoicing and all that stuff. So collecting of money is very, very important. Cool. All right. Any other questions, group?
I have a just a musical question.
Yeah, shoot.
So like I'm really studying melody, and I noticed that I tend to, when I make like have big, and it's probably like a new singer kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like I make big jumps all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not like a nice, it's like and it's almost I mean, I'm singing and strumming, and I'm singing scales over my chords and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Were there any other hacks that kind of helped you just to start thinking more flowing melodically and less mm-hmm. like, hey, ho?
Yeah. Yeah. I think in sections. Mm-hmm. So I think verse is telling the story. Right. I'm not trying to depending on the sound of music. So let me also explain that. But I'll give you two versions. One, my verse is never going to be higher than my chorus. Right. In a normal storytelling sense. My pre-chorus is going to be the only moment where I'll start to add melodic sections that challenge the verse. Mm-hmm. And then my chorus is going to be the most vocally impactful or the catchiest rhythmically. That's my go-to sections. And sometimes it's doing both. It's challenging the scale and it's challenging the rhythm. Now, if I was doing a song that was, let's say, a sync song that I knew I wanted to grab attention, I might start with it being high in the verse, like, hey, I'm a Bennett on the back, and then go into the verse. I might grab attention in that very first couple seconds because I know I have to for the advertisement or something like that. But for the most part, another song idea is like, there's a song for the Avicii called Hey Brother. And it literally starts out with, hey brother, there's a lot that is undiscovered. Hey, and it starts off grabbing attention. That's still a good style of writing, but it's not as typical as the one of creating a storytelling, then the pre-chorus challenging, and the chorus moving up. So they all work, and it really just depends on the feel of what you get inspired to while you're writing. So if you're writing a song and that hey brother comes out, and it's like, go with that, because it's got a good feeling. The one thing I would recommend is, I would not recommend is singing all over the place. Because what happens if you start in the verse singing all over the place, and then the pre-chorus, it doesn't have anywhere to go. There's nothing that challenges it. And the chorus, once again, now you have to do something that's higher or more rhythmically challenging the other parts. That's when it gets confusing. And as long as you can remember that music is just math, so you can't overload a listener. Think of notes as just numbers of information. If you have too many numbers of information in the verse, you're most likely going to scare the seller away, the buyer away. If someone comes into your store and you're like, hey, you can buy this, they're going to be like, whoa, slow down. But if you're like, hey, I got this right here, and you just keep repeating, I got this right here, they're like, all right. And then you go, oh, or you can have this, and that's the pre-chorus. And then you start thinking, but you know what we really want is this back here. That's the chorus. And then you bring that to the front. Here it is. And you're like, ooh, that's how it feels like it's easiest to get to the point you're trying to get across. And sometimes that gets kind of overshadowed if there's too much going on in the first verse.
Cool.
Makes sense a little bit?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been just like, in this last year, really, like, I had like a lot of guitar books and bass books and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I started just grabbing at secondhand bookstores a lot of songbooks, because it dawned on me when I started writing songs that they write the musical notation for the melodies. And like, I'm kind of blown away by how simple they are.
Yep.
Like, maybe because my go-to is like, and I'm just starting to push through this, is like singing the root 5
mm-hmm.
5 octave.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's like, I'm starting to hit the 3 consistently, and some neighboring tones, you know what I mean? But I open these songbooks and like, hit songs. They're just like,
yep,
5th neighboring tone, 5th, 7th, root, set neighboring tone.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's tricks to it all,
Yeah. And I guess like, maybe it's the songbooks I'm looking at too, but I guess like there's so much kind of melodic information in vocabulary and in consonants and vowels.
Mm-hmm.
I find that I think that it gets really confusing quickly for me. Like, is this word feels like a melody, but it's kind of like breaking with what the melody I've established in the first verse or something. But I love this, these combination of words, and I know that different artists write different ways, and like, I'm sure you've experienced coming up with a melody based on a phrase that popped into your head, and then vice versa.
Yeah. So I can tell you some of the formats that I use, because I kind of have go-to things that work. And then I only then search deeper if those go-tos don't work. It's kind of like if we think about jujitsu. I know I can get that Kimura every time if someone goes to that thing. And if I can't, then I'll go for the triangle. But I'm going for that Kimura first because I know it's most likely going to work.
Gotcha, yeah.
So for instance, in writing a verse, I might not ever sing the root on purpose. And so I only do a pentatonic scale where I'm using the 2, 3, 5, 6. And so I'm just doing those notes and I'm not hitting the root on purpose. And then when I go in the pre-chorus, I'll make sure that I still don't hit the root. And then when I go to the chorus, that's when I've hit the root. Because I want people feel like they're home. Exactly. So I want them to have that feeling. So that's one thing I might just do because I know it will work.
Yeah.
And I know if I use the major pentatonic scale going up in a certain way into the chorus, like, if I do something like that going into the chorus, it'll give it a certain raise that sounds soulful, but yet still pop.
Yeah.
So I know I will do that in the way up to that chorus, and then I'll land on the root. So those are things I know if I do that, it'll work every time.
It's kind of like using theory when you're in a jam.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know where to go in a song.
Exactly. So I will literally go over to the piano. I'll hit the major pentatonic scale, and then I will remove the root, play the track, and then I'll just play around till I find something that's really nice. Mm-hmm. Now, the other way I do it is I just freestyle whatever comes out. And a lot of times when I freestyle, I'll have words and I'll have phrases. And most of the time, that works for me, where I just channel whatever comes out, and then that's a cool line. That's a cool line. I pick and choose.
That seems to work for me too.
Cool. Now the other one, and this is a mixture, but the other one is where I just throw out a bunch of melodies. So I'll do 5 complete passes of the song. Each time I challenge the melody to make sure I don't do what I just did the last pass. Uh-huh. So that way I know I have completely different melodic structures throughout the whole entire song. That means I have a completely different verse, completely different pre-chorus, completely different chorus, completely different bridge. Everything's different on each pass.
So, but you try to stick to like, and you're talking about like verse, chorus, or you do a whole pass?
Whole song.
And you're singing different parts like in every section? Or
so
just like you try to stick to the same verse in that complete pass?
Yeah. So like let's say there's a music bed and drums are, and then I just have to sing, yeah, then my mama back told me, yes, I'm son of the Lord, yes, I did the wheel. So that's one verse, right? And then I'll do a different pre-chorus and then different chorus. And then I'll sing a whole take, right? And then next time I'll have to do something completely different. I'll be like, you're coming around, you come and see, you come and that's something different. I'll do a whole different pass. If I don't feel like I have them, I'll do 5 different passes of that song. So I know I have 5 different verses, 5 different pre-choruses, 5 different choruses, and 5 different bridges. They're all different. And out of those 5, that's 25 different ideas. After that, I'm just plugging and plopping.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes what I'm doing is even going down to just the line. I'll go, well, that line, so that sounded cool. But maybe I want the other one from the first one. And I'm rooted. That's a cool way to end, so I'm just going boop, boop, boop.
So
you have call it Frankensteining.
So something contrapuntal or that makes sense if it's like a B, A kind of melodic structure. Yeah.
Yep. And so I literally call that Frankensteining songs. And I'll sit there for an hour, bang out a bunch of melodies. And then after I have the melodies, because melodies are king, lyrics are queen. But here's the thing. The lyrics of a chorus, if it's something that's going to be repeated over and over again, I mean, even though the melody is king, that queen you need.
Yeah.
Because without that queen, it might not be the song that lands in the advertisement. Especially when we're talking about the world of sync and the world of radio. If you have a lyric that is really clever, let me give you a perfect example of what I'm going through right now with one of the members in our group. So we did a song. Actually, I can play it for you, and I'll show you. I'll show you right now what we've been working on, so you can kind of hear a little bit of what happens when you kind of get in this position that we're in, where we started writing a song, and we didn't even realize that there was another song from 1985 or something like that, that is using the same lyric, or at least a lyric that's similar to it. Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, I've had that experience already.
Yeah, so we had to do a full what is it? A full interpolation request. So here's the rough vocal. It's still not a full demo or anything.
We step into the party, never saying sorry. This is who we are, everybody go, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shine dripping
So we came up with that idea of this future so bright that we gotta need shades, or we gotta wear shades.
Yeah. What song is that?
That's
actually the name of the song.
Yeah, the name of the song is, it's like an old song. Like we got it.
Well, who did that? I remember it too.
Yeah, let me find
It's
it.
from the 80s. It was on MTV.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the band.
Is it? It's not. It's like
That I gotta wear shades. It was something
I
like
want to
that.
say Dire Straits, but it's not.
No, but they sound the chorus sounds like Dire
So
Straits.
bright, you gotta
Yeah.
wear shades.
Got it exactly. So in this example, we sent it into our publisher and we said, hey, and this, I'm so glad that this all worked out the way it was, because we were going, should we write that we need to wear shades, or that we gotta wear shades? And we just asked our publisher, and our publisher said, good thing you guys sent this in to us, because we actually own the rights to the original version of the song.
Okay.
And this could be a problem for you guys, because you're using 3 words. The future, bright, and shades are the same from that other song. So we were like, what should we do? And he said, you have to send in an interpolation request, which is kind of like a sample request, to the artist or to the original writers to see if they'll allow you to do this. So we had to do that form. We had to do all this stuff. And this is for one of the members in our group. So we had to fill out this whole form, send it all in, and see if we even get the request to be validated, because it's an independent artist. So if an independent artist, you're not sure.
Words?
What's that?
3 words?
Well, it's just those 3 main words are really what hold it together, right? I'm just saying those 3 main words hold that line together. Future, bright, shades. And those 3 main words.
That's kind of like the legal prerequisite.
No. I'm just saying those 3 words hold up that sentence, which are exactly the same of this other song. So if I was to remove the word future, and I just said something so bright, shades, we might have a little bit of leeway, but we're saying future, bright, and shades. And that's the same exact thing from that other song.
I guess my question is that like, as you're, because I feel like as people write so many songs and time goes on, this issue is going to happen more and more, right? So is 3 words that kind of
it's not. What I'm saying is that because those 3 words pin down that sentence to where it's not like and, the, and but, it's future, bright, and shades are the same exact amount of words that we're using in succession. That's where it could start a problem. If we said bright, shades, future in a different order, it's possible it might be different. But the way we line it up in succession, and those 3 main words that aren't just regular throwaway words like ands, buts, and does, it caused a problem. And he said exact words were, this could be a lightning rod of a lawsuit if something is needed, right? So usually people think of it as melody, like melodic structure is what you can sue for. Oh, that's the same melody of that song. But in this case, it's the lyrical part. So we had to go start from scratch, and we tried to write a bunch of different lines, and it didn't really help. I remember one of the ideas I threw out there was like, our future is so fly that we're going to need capes. And they're like, yeah, that's clever, but it's just not going to work, so we had to come to the point of like, okay, well, let's ask for interpolation request. And now we're looking to get answer back, and we don't know if they're going to say yes or no. And if they say no, then we have to write the whole chorus again and it becomes something different. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's important to kind of know some of these things, because there is a process that happens if you have to get clearance, even if you're an independent artist or a mainstream, like you have to go through a process. In some cases, you have to pay. So we have to even offer them money and see if they'll take that if it doesn't work. So it's a whole entire thing. But I'm just bringing that up because it's a lot of things that I think we're not taught as musicians, like that there's a process and these things will happen and people will come after you. And it's a good thing our publisher stopped us when we did, because otherwise we would have finished it all up. We would have released it. We would have been pitching it. We would have done all this stuff, and we could have been walking right into a lawsuit and not even know that. Yeah. Pablo, that was Brenda singing. If you're asking in the group, that was Brenda. Okay, cool. Any other questions, y'all? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, she has a bunch of good tracks. We did 6 songs with her this last week. They all sound real good. Nothing? Everyone good? Yeah? All right. Mickey or Pablo, if you have any other questions before I head off. I mean, I'm always here for like 2 hours, but if no one has questions, then I'm not gonna stay on if you guys feel like they're all good. So let me
yeah,
know.
just one quick reference. Based on the one you just talked about, the interpolation. Remember we did that cover for it was gonna be a cover for the Fly Away with Jamil and come fly away, come fly away. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's an issue with that? No, it says let's fly away. If we use come fly away.
I think these things are fine, because if you say come fly away, I don't think anyone can take that from you. Okay. Because it's not, like I said, once again, the other one is a full sentence that we're using very specific words. If someone said come fly away, I don't think anyone can kind of say, oh, you took that.
It's more generic.
Yeah, exactly. If someone said, come fly away with me on a kite to the moon, and you went fly away kite moon, well, now we're into some other territory. But if you say come fly away, then I don't think that.
Yeah, because we're working on that track this and next week probably to get it done. So
nice. Yeah. I think y'all be fine. And
awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Just that question. Thank you.
Good question. Good question. Trust me, the part that gets interesting is when you start to pitch things to real opportunities, and whenever there's real opportunities, which means there's real money, which means there's real people who are protecting the rights of the other publishers and other writers they have, and they will come if they sense money. I mean, it's rightfully so, because there's gonna be a point where you're going to have 500 songs in the catalog and they're going to be making money. And there's going to be some 19-year-old kid who's going to hear a song of yours in 20 years. He's going to be like, yo, I'm going to sample this guy's song because I got this new piece of equipment that can sample anything. And then you're going to be like 50 years old going, wait a second, I want to get paid on that. It's going to happen to all of us. So
you got to eat next week.
Exactly. Right. Good.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Well, there's always questions, but you know how it is. You get off and that's when they pop up.
No, I trust me. I got it, man. Yeah. Well, also just for anyone, just so you know, on Monday, we have our next producer breakdown. So if anyone's going to join us on that, I'll just run through it real quick, because I think those are really important for writers, producers, and songwriters. We'll be breaking down the hit songs from Max Martin, Jack Antonoff, and Mark Ronson. And I'll be breaking everything down systematically on what patterns are they using, so we can make these character profiles of them. And you can be like, okay, so I know that Mark Ronson is sourcing this kind of material. Because every producer has a integral learning point that they started. It's usually several producers that inspired them. It's not them. They are a culmination of other things. Everyone is, right? So when we study Mark Ronson, we're probably going to find Motown, and who was he studying for Motown, and what sounds was he studying, and how did he make it modern? When you start to understand what's the foundation of producers and why they think the way they do, it's a lot easier to go, oh, if I want to make something like that, I have to go before them, find the things that they were using, and then put it into my bag of tricks. So we're breaking down the production, we're breaking down the lyrics and the melodies, which is really important, because every hit producer, and this is something that has to be so ingrained in us, a good producer is different from a good beat maker. A great producer understands lyric and melody. A good producer does not. A good producer can just make tracks. Like, give me your acapella. I can make a really good track around it. But he can make, or she can make, a track around anything that sounds good. A great producer says that lyric right there needs work. That melody needs work. Now, why does that person? What's the difference? And in that difference is the difference of how much income they make, how much credits they make, and really how much impact they have. So what we're doing on these courses, and the reason why I'm excited about doing these and bring them into the club, is we'll be doing a full breakdown of all the hit songs and why they were that big, how they were created most likely, and then create these character profiles. We'll do that for 2 days. And on the third day, you make your own tracks. So we break up into groups, and you can make them on your own. You can make them in the groups, and you can make things that are either culminations of all things you learned, or you can say, I'm going to make a song just like, Max Martin, or just like Jack Antonoff. And we can then start to understand, like, how are these formulas working? We can test them in the real laboratory. And I think that's going to be really important, because when you start to build, and my goal is to do one of these each month, when you start to build these at the end of a year, if you go to every one, you have 36 character profiles in your memory bank and in your Pro Tools sessions or Studio One sessions or Ableton sessions. You can always go back and be like, oh, that's exactly what you know, David Foster would do right here. I know exactly what he would do because he always goes to that chord before he hits the chorus. And there's one thing I've noticed is that producers all have the same tricks, because what happens is when they get a big hit song and it really does impact, they tend to make, in the best way of saying this, remixes of that song. That's what happens, but most people don't talk about that, because as a producer, you write tons and tons of material, and then something, for whatever reason, cuts through all the other clutter out there in the world. And then other people start to emulate that. So because you made it, if you listen to Pharrell, like a lot of the drums that Pharrell uses are the same kind of drum sounds. It's an open hi-hat with a Motown kind of groove, and he doesn't do a lot of crazy tension and release. And he puts a lot of seventh notes in his chords. He uses like a jazz styling thing with a neo soul, and he does chords that are on weird beats. It's like bramp, bramp, bamp, bump, bamp, bamp. He does these weird things because he knows it grabs attention and it holds some sort of glue for his sound. Once you know what that person most likely would do, you start to hear it in people who also replicate it. So like perfect example is I did a breakdown on a K-pop song. It's called The Girls' Generation is the name of the name of the group. And I was listening to the beat, and it was like boom, boom, cat, but a boom, boom, cat, boom, 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 cat, but a boom, boom, cat, boom, boom. And I said, let me see what date that song came out. 2013. So that beat sounds just like Timbaland. I went to a Timbaland song from 2009, and it was his exact beat. And so I realized that producer who did a K-pop song in 2013 must have studied Timbaland, made this beat just out of the same tempo, same groove, everything's the same. And they made a song that was a hit in K-pop. So this is a big world. And when you play it with a big world mentality, you can go, I can learn from this producer, from that producer, from this thing, and I can pull these bag of tricks and put them together, use them for myself. So in these producer breakdowns, we're going to do, like I said, 2 days of studying and then 1 day of actual work in the laboratory. And we're going to do them once a month for the rest of the year, till the end of next year. That's the goal, because I want everyone to be able to, I can do singer songwriter, I can do pop, I can do hip hop if I want, and really be a full blend. Also, what we're starting the club, and I don't know if we've completely started yet because I just sent the email to Denise, but I told everyone every Sunday it's going to be kind of open mat where everyone can come in and work with each other. And if you have all levels can come in and collaborate. I don't know when that's starting, if she already started doing that or if it's starting soon, but I want you all to know that will be starting soon. Is every Sunday will be where everyone can come, and no matter what level you are, you can collaborate with people. So if you're a producer and looking for songwriters and artists, they will all be there on Sundays. And then every first week and every third week, we'll be doing camps. And camps will only be for level 3s. So for everyone who's not level 3, make sure that you get there. But it'll be sync camps and artist camps. So it's not going to be just TV and film. TV and film is something that we definitely focus on because I know that's the easiest way to ever make money. That's just the reality. Without sync, it's almost impossible for an upcoming writer, producer, artist to get any real money going unless you have a record deal. And most people don't have record deals. So I don't focus on record deals because I know how hard they are unless you have a following. But we do sync camps to make sure people can make a living and make credits and get better at their craft. And then we'll be doing artist camps where the artists in our group can also be releasing material from people inside the group. And when we get the best song from the artist camps, we'll be giving them to our mentors who work at labels and say, which songs do you think are best for releasing? And then we'll all help the release. So let's say, Pablo's the artist and all of us were in the camp, we'll all openly share it on our social media to help Pablo's song get released. So we can start to test, how does that work? Is it getting more views because we're all sharing it and helping out? And so we'll start to test those waters. So those things are going to be starting, like, if not this month, next month, very, very soon, which I'm really excited about because we've never had them in the group. And I can tell that, I don't know if, was anyone in the last sync camp? Any of you all were in it? I know Pablo was.
Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone referred back to you and told you what the executives have been saying over at the publisher?
Oh,
company?
yeah. We had really good results. So
good.
Well, at least that's what I feel. The comments and stuff. That song that we did with it says, "I love the old soul vibes and stuff. This sounds great. Can we keep it as it is?" And like they want it like it is. I was gonna comment something on that. talk concerning the releases. I think it's helped a lot. Like this type of camps, everybody in some way has bonded.
Yeah.
Which you know how we are as humans. It shouldn't be like that, but that's how we are. If we're not bonded, we don't share.
Yeah, true.
So everybody's like respecting what everybody else does. They see the effort, they see the growth and stuff. So it's like, oh, cool, let's support them. And you like, and you feel their personal respect because like, oh man, you did this, it came out great. And then the same thing, man, you killed these vocals and all that stuff. And it's really cool because it's real, you know. It's not. I mean, there's crazy talented people, singers.
Yeah, right.
And it's crazy how much these two sing camps have made us all grow. I think.
I'm right there with you. That's the reason why I want to do more of them, because I see how much growth has happened. So for me as an outsider, you know, my whole mission in doing this is really to help people understand the magic of making music, because I can scientifically break it down, right? That's just a gift that I have and I can share it. So that's the reason I like doing it.
Yeah.
The next part is going, okay, if we're really going to help the music industry become better, we need to put the hands back in the people and not just in the favor of just the labels. We need to make it more balanced. So that way people can make a good living and know how to do it. And then they can negotiate and it becomes more fair. The cool thing that I get to see is when, you know, the publishers that I work with who, you know, they took a risk on me and it's worked out really well for them and vice versa. When I'm able to send them these songs and see their responses and they get back really quickly and they're like, I've looked at the emails. I don't know if they share the actual emails with you, but it says like, oh, these are great. They don't need any notes. These are amazing. And then the next email comes back. Oh my God, there's so much talent in this group. Oh my, you know, you start to see all these things and I go, yeah, it's all right here. And you didn't need a manager for that. You didn't need to go through a bunch of people. You're just in a club with a bunch of other members who are really talented from around the world. And we've organized it. So there's a process that works.
Well,
so I want to do
in all that said, I mean, it's also I think as a personal thing, you've taken a risk in believing in like you spot, you know, this guy can grow and like, let's figure it out. And whoever puts the effort and doesn't take it for granted, it's like worth it.
Yeah.
But if you weren't here, like, honestly, you know, it's like, it would, like you said, it's taken me years, but if you weren't here, it'd probably take me 10 times more or never get to it.
This, man, that's why I like doing this.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think this, right? There's sometimes just being on a good team is the way that people get across the finish line. It's not like everyone's going to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's not reality, but just being on a good team can still get you a championship ring. There's people who are on the Bulls who never played, who have a championship ring now because they had a great team, right?
Yeah.
So the way I look at things, you know, is if you can just get in the right team of people and be of good service and do your job really well and push everyone to get further, that team will constantly keep growing, constantly get better, and more opportunities keep coming. And you're a part of that team. You will get things out of it. And I've met people before who don't want to work as hard. They want everything super fast and they're not good team players. And then what happens is they think because they're pretty good, things will work out for them. And I go like this. In every city in America, there's at least 20 people who make music who think just like you. There's like, I don't know, 40,000 cities in America. So that means there's like 800,000 people who are thinking just like you.
Yeah.
But there's only one or two Pharrells. There's only one Timbaland. There's only one, there's only one Max Martin. There's only one person. And if you notice those people who are really successful, if we're talking about Max Martin and I say Timbaland and David Foster and all these people, they all have teams. It's not just them. Like when I work with Timbaland's camp, you walk in the studio and there's 2 to 3 producers and writers in every room, and they've rented a 5-room studio. So there's 15 to 20 people who are all part of one team. And then you hear all these songs, like, how are all these songs coming out around the world? It's like, because they have a full team that's doing this. But then there's always that one person thinks they're going to do it on their own. I'm like, it's so much harder that way. So much harder.
Oh, and that's like trust me, and like all the learning curve is so different. It's like so different. It's like, because you focus, this whole thing has pressured everybody that's trying to do, at least in the scene camps, pressure them to learn things that they thought they did not need.
Yep.
And it's like right now, it's like a friend, I was talking to a friend like the other day, like, so are you mastering the songs too? I'm like, I have to. I'm lean, and like, it's probably not. I'm not going to be the big labels of mastering or anything right now, at least. But I'm like, at least it has to be up there, you know. And it's like, oh, but you have to pay somebody. Like, I don't have time to pay somebody right now.
Yep.
Like, it's not, sometimes not even about the money. It's about the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because I can save, I can go sell a guitar and get 3-4 songs mastered really good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the time, where's the time going to come from? So I'm like, when
you'll be good at mastering, and then you actually start to understand tricks of it. And then people are going to be hiring you for that, because then you'll become valuable at it.
Yeah. And you're valuable all around. And people, at least people outside the group, they're like, how can you be valuable all around? I'm like, you have to. It was like, there's no option.
Yep.
Like, you have to learn how to do it. So right now I'm like, I'm at the stage where like my circles, the people that I worked with and everything, I'm not really working with them, because I'm like, there's going to be no growth. You're going to call me for what you think you can call me. And you're not going to believe I can do all of this other stuff, because it takes 10 years to learn.
Yep.
And I'm like, but there's a way. So I'm like, no, it doesn't happen. I'm like, well, let's just wait. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So what you're saying, and the reason why I'm glad you're bringing up is that's exactly where I was about 6 years ago. When I got to the point where I was like, okay, I've been sending things off for mixing, and it takes a long time to get it back. And sometimes it doesn't sound like how I want it to be. I've been sending things off to mastering, and I have to wait a week. It doesn't sound like how I want it to be. I've been waiting for other producers to come in and fix something when I knew what I wanted to do, but I just couldn't articulate it. Once I started going, okay, I need to focus on the things that I don't know and really, really study and start to execute them. And the reality, like we said with the friends, is realize that some of these friends I'm around are happy being status quo. They're not really trying to say, I have to be as good, if not better, than the people who I want to be in the same circles in. I can't just kind of do good music. I have to be as good or better than the people that I'm looking up to. And once all those things kind of went, whoosh, okay, there's no more turning back from this. That's when I started to do the things you're talking about. I started to spend an hour or two a day studying mixing, or an hour or two studying how to get this right sound of drum sounds, and how do I sample really good, and how do I learn how to mix really well, and how do I learn chord progressions that I think I started to study these things, and over time, they all started to blend, and then my value increased. So when I worked with a singer next time, or worked with an artist, or worked with myself, I started to hear things differently and go, oh, no, I see how this will work. Like, I started to be able to plan it and map it in my mind prior, where before I'd just be like, I don't know what we're making today. Let's see what comes out. But now I have a process, which I've showed you. I put the TV on first. I try to match the emotional context of it. Oh, am I missing something here? Oh, is that lyric edgy enough? Or do I have to give it some more sauce to it? I started to give it more intention. And from that, it changed my entire career. So exactly what you're talking about is exactly where I was. And once it all starts to click, it kind of opens up doors that you'll see. It's like the friends that you used to hang out with, it will be different, because your mindset's going to go, oh, I can't make music like that again. I have to make music that's just as good as the people I've been studying, period. And that's a whole
and it puts you at a different place, because like I'm helping out 2 guys. One of the guys that I told you about, the singer, he's really solid and everything. But I've told him, bro, I'm like, I've been learning from Adam for years. Like, you can come and learn if you have time, because I've been trying to put like 10, 12 hours a week, on this at least. So like, if not, I'm going to just tell you what he told me. I'm like, just go undeniable. If you're going to be a singer, like, go hire the best coach.
Yep.
Like, if you have the money, of course. If you don't have it, don't go and
of course,
go into debt, right? But so he's like, okay, so I'll do that. So he's like, he called me. I hired the best vocal coach in town. Like, okay, if that doesn't work, I'll ask Adam. Somebody, he'll point us the right direction and get somebody like super high. But let's try that for a couple of months.
Yeah.
but it's the same thing. It's like I'm trying to build a local team that you can trust, that I can tell you know what, Adam, we got this song. What do you think? You want to jump in, executive producer? Yep. It's great. It's not great. Just tell me, we'll throw it away or we start again. Yep. But I'm going to get to the point where I'm not caring about throwing things away. Yep. Because before you used to get tied, oh, it's that I wrote it and it's my emotion and this is like, of course you can have time for that, but it's not, it can't like get you a career in the current situation we live in, like music wise, you know? So it's not as easy to break through as an artist anymore, unless you're in the right moment, the right time, which can happen, but it's not as easy. There's like so many.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying is actually what I envision where the group will go over the next 5 years is that all of the main members who are active and doing all these things are going to have people in their town, even sometimes friends, family, you know, that are really talented, that they're going to go, I want to develop you. Now that person technically might not be in the group. We might be even at the place where we hit capacity where they're not even allowed in. Yeah. But they'll through you, they'll have the knowledge base. And so the way I look at the group is like, okay, in 5 years, so we have 500 members. We'll probably have a large majority of people who will be at level 4. Some people will be at level 5, and they'll be able to create high quality music. They'll all have a network now. They'll all been working with each other for a few years. So they'll be trusting all the producers, mixers, writers, artists. Okay, that's really good. And then when they build up their own town, like they build up their town, they'll be bringing artists that are really talented or writers or producers into and say, hey, listen, do you want to produce this artist over here? Do you want to co-produce or do you? Yeah. So to me, it seems like there's like little hubs we're building, little satellite stations that will have the knowledge base in their own areas. And then also will be connected to this hierarchy that has connection directly to all the supervisors and all the labels and all the people that we're bringing in as mentors. So yeah, I'm super excited. And that's why when we've been doing these camps, I've seen the growth, I've seen the bond that you're talking about, and I've seen the results. And whenever you have those 3 things, growth, bond, and results, it's like rinse, wash, and repeat. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And more people will get the same thing, and we'll build it into something that becomes, you know, extremely different, because nothing else in the world, I think, that I've seen in the music industry does what we're doing right now. And
it's like totally a game changer, because at least for me, if somebody stops into town, hey, take me around town and stuff, I'll spend the time with them. You know, if somebody from the group, it's like, I'm here to do the best for you as far as a human being is concerned. And if we become friends, like close friends, even better, you know? Yeah. But it's not about that. It's like just being serviceable.
I agree.
Being serviceable.
I think I was talking to, was it Brenda? I think it was Brenda in the group, and her and Reese and Sabrina and someone else were out at a convention recently. And,
I think Lexi was out there too.
Yeah. And Brenda and Sabrina had shared an Airbnb or something. And I said, this is exactly what we're talking about, is people are traveling together, different conventions, and they're able to share their music together, and they're able to go to these things together, and they have a support team already there. And so Craig's son has been building this app for the group, which is really just started. I told everyone about it in one of our other courses, but it basically is a worldwide map, and it has a pin to where in the city that everyone's in, and you can click on the pin, and it's going to tell you, the person's name, a link to their music, what they're looking to do. Are they open for collaborations? Like, they have time right now, and like what days and times, what's their expertise? They might have like trumpet, they might play violin, like what they're really good at. There'll be a full like profile and bio, and you can just click on the pins. And when the pin is green, that means they're open for collaboration. If it's red, it means they're busy right now. So you can look at everyone who's green and be like, oh, click on that person, click on that person. But then when you travel around the world, after all this pandemic stuff is gone, you can literally set up a tour, or you can set up a writing sessions based on when you want to travel. So if you're like, you know what, I really want to backpack across Europe, you can be like, oh, there's friends here in London, there's friends here in Sweden, there's friends in Copenhagen, there's friends in Germany. And you can plan your trip around friends and just hop from place to place. And that to me it's never been done before in music. There's no system in music. It's just a lot of throwing random darts, hoping that they hit bullseyes. But if it could be more streamlined and easier, not only will it be easier for us, the creators, it's going to make it easier for the executives, because then they know, all right, if I go into this group, we're building trust with people. like now that we have Yudi, hopefully everyone got the email from Yudi, who is representing everyone. We have our own internal sync agent now. So if you haven't heard from Yudi, it's probably because you're not level 3 yet. But if you are level 3, you get an email from Yudi, who Yudi is reaching out to our mentors who have sync companies twice a month and asking what are they looking for the briefs, and is there anything in their catalog that they need. So when you finish a song, you can just show it to Yudi, and Yudi will keep it on the list, and whenever a brief comes in, she can pitch it for you. Having someone who's constantly looking at opportunities, kind of like a stock market, it's like a day trader, that's a really big deal when we start to build a massive catalog. Because when we do these camps, we're getting 10 songs done a week. So if we can get, let's say, we'll have 2 camps a month, but they'll be 3-day camps. So let's say we'll get 10 songs, or maybe probably even more as our group grows. So let's say 15 songs a month from the group. By the end of a year, that's over 100 plus songs. End of 5 years, that's 500 songs. When we have someone like Yudi going like this, day trading 500 songs, you're going to see people popping up like, oh, we didn't know we placed that, and we placed this, and we placed that. And it's going to be a major shift. And it's just part of the group, like it's just how we're activating. So yeah, I'm really excited about what's happening, especially, like I said, because we've been doing these camps, because I can see the results from them. And the songs are just getting better and better. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everything you're doing, man. And especially personally for my life and stuff. And much love to you and Amy. Like,
thank you, brother.
My heart goes out with you guys and everything.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, Pablo. All right. Is there any other questions, y'all, while we're here? Let's see, Mickey, what's going on, brother?
I'm gonna head out, bro. All right,
man. Work. Take it easy.
Thank you.
See you soon, man.
Cheers, man. Hi, Adam. How's it going? On the producer breakdown, I'm focusing on the singer-songwriter thing with the Billboard 500 at the moment, as you recommended. Are you going to be doing Rick Rubin, T-Bone Burnett at some stage?
Oh yeah. We're doing the top 50 producers.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm focusing on for the next year, is everyone who's on the top 50 of Billboard charts list.
Yeah.
And T-Bone and Rick Rubin are definitely on there.
I don't know whether it's going to lead to anything, Adam, but I sent T-Bone my first album, said would be interested in doing anything, and he just sent a message back saying, "I love your sounds." So it's just that, nothing else. But to be interested in finding out more about him on the breakdown.
That's cool. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So we just found his email and said, "I'll just send him an email."
I sent him an Instagram thing and sent him the link to the Spotify thing. He came back
that's cool, man.
Your sounds, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Cool.
See, you never know. You never know in this world. That's great. Yeah, we will be breaking down. We're doing pop. We'll be doing singer-songwriter. We'll be doing composition, like film, TV scoring. We'll be doing EDM. We'll be doing country. We'll be doing a little bit of all. So that way, like at the end of the year, everyone has a really good grasp of different styles that they can fall back on and be confident in.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Any other questions while we're here? No? David's good. Mickey's good. Lance is good. Elena, I see your brain going. You're good? All right. Well, then, if there's no other questions, then I'll hop off. All right, cool. So anyone who's going to be for the producer breakdown, I'll see you on Monday. And then it's the next time we'll be face-to-face. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Cheers, Adam. Thanks a lot.
There you go. You too.
Ciao.